is Puritans Radio. It's not just about the football.
Right, we're moving on to another new part of Food and Travel for 2017. We've got, it says here in writing, Deborah's debut. Those of you that listen regular to Puritans Radio will have heard, can I call him my good friend?
Yes.
Good. My good friend Deborah Menikoff-Simmons, who his knowledge of food is almost as good as mine. And she's very kindly agreed to do a 15, 20, 25-minute slot or until I tell her to shut up. And I've given her total carte blanche, so I have no idea what she's going to talk about. But before we listen to Deborah, I'm just going to play a little bit of music to introduce her.
Good morning, everyone. As Peter told you, I am going to be doing Dishing on Food, thanks to Peter's generosity with his time. But first, I want to thank him for playing the Monkees, which anyone who knows me knows that makes me really, really happy. But I don't have any Monkees-related food trivia for you today, but I do have music-related food trivia for you today, because this week, or the end of the week, is Peach Melba Day. Peach Melba, like many other dishes, was named after Dame Nellie Melba, who wasn't particularly peachy, actually. Like many hugely successful driven people, she wasn't warm and cuddly, but that's okay because the dessert named after her involves ice cream, which doesn't need to be warm and cuddly. So Peach Melba, as you may or may not know, is peaches with a scoop of vanilla ice cream and a raspberry red currant sauce on it. If you didn't know, I suggest that you try it because it is a superb way to make the most of peaches, which may not be particularly ripe, and of course a really good vanilla ice cream. But it is an older dish. And it's a dish that has a huge food history. It was invented by Escoffier, the man who's sort of at the heart of culinary everything. He was at the Savoy. He was head chef at the Savoy in the 1890s. She was performing in Covent Garden. She was massively popular. She was the opera star of the day. She was lauded all over the world. She was performing in Wagner, and celebrating her performance in Wagner, her very good friend in quotes, the Duke of Orleans, threw a party to celebrate her performance, and Escoffier invented the dessert to celebrate her at this event. There are a couple of dishes that he invented for her. The second one was Melba toast, which of course now we think of as dry squares of toast that you put various things on. But after having all of that Peach Melba, she needed to go on a diet. So he created Melba toast for her. There's also the Melba sauce, which is raspberry and red currant sauce, and something called Melba garniture, which sounds delicious. Chicken, truffles, and mushrooms stuffed into tomatoes covered with white sauce. However, I can't find any recipes for it, so if anyone has a recipe for Melba garniture, I would love to see it. It doesn't seem to have survived Escoffier's time at the Savoy or at the Carlton. As I said, she wasn't hugely warm and cuddly. She wasn't hugely popular amongst the other singers on the opera circuit, but is a hugely competitive field, so you can kind of understand that. Still, some of her rivals were quoted as saying, if a singer's greatness can be gauged by how detested she is by colleagues, Melba is undoubtedly the greatest singer of all time. So, possibly not someone you'd want to sit down and have dinner or dessert with. But she did promote people whose talent she saw and talent she believed in. So, and she's a bit bawdy, so I thought Peter would enjoy hearing reference to that. There is a quote, which is most often attributed to Nellie Melba. There are two things I like stiff, and one of them is jelly. It's usually attributed to Melba. I can't find anyone who definitively says it isn't her. But sometimes it is attributed to Mae West, who had a similar comment about hard eggs. But Peach Melba it's easy to make. It's, if you have trouble getting your kids to eat fruit, sometimes it's a bit tart, it's a bit sharp for children. Start introducing it in dessert. I know dessert's not the first thing you want to start them on, but, what child is going to turn down a peach with a scoop of ice cream on it? That is about all I have to say about Peach Melba, but I am a huge fan of commemorative days of food. If Peach Melba is not your thing and you don't want to wait till Friday, January 10th is Bittersweet Chocolate Day. I'm a huge fan of dark chocolate and bittersweet chocolate, not so much milk chocolate. Apricot Day is today, if you feel like going out and getting some fruit. Hot Toddy Day is on January 11th, and January 12th is Marzipan Day, which will no doubt please my husband more than me. He's more the marzipan fan. In tribute to my now home country, it is Hot Tea Month. I can't contribute a lot to that conversation. I'm not a tea drinker. I'm one of these barbaric Americans that drinks mostly coffee. But I know how strongly people feel about tea, so it is Hot Tea Month if you want to indulge in that. It's also Slow Cooking Month, and I think the weather outside is pretty indicative that's an excellent choice, January, for Slow Cooking Month. And Soup Month. And if there's any other days that anyone wants me to discuss moving forward, hopefully Peter will let me come back. If you have any interesting trivia about food you want me to cover, you can always reach me on Twitter. I'm at NYCDeb. Or if you want any information about peach Melba, a recipe, I think Nigella Lawson has one. You can probably Google that. And I will sign it back over to Peter.
That was brilliant. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Yeah, don't go away though.
I'm not going.
Yeah, we've got another 10 minutes to fill before Gail gets her pies.
I can continue talking about the nasty things Nellie Melba did to people.
Let me just interrupt you for a couple of minutes on a couple of things, and then you can carry on again talking about Nellie Member. Nellie Member?
Nellie Member.
What am I thinking of?
Probably the jelly.
This is Puritans Radio.